This is a story about baseball, fathers and sons, and one wayward pitch. My son Danny and I arrived at the baseball field to the sound of Tommy's fastball popping into his father's mitt. Tommy Jr., the best ball player on the team, was bigger and better than the other boys, and he knew it. Batting practice started and I was the pitcher, which was good news for the kids because whenever I pitched, the ball seemed to find the bat whether I wanted it to or not. Tommy was the first up to bat and immediately the balls were zinging all over the place. He was crushing it and staring at me with a smug look on his little face. Next up was my son. "Dad, throw strikes." "Don't try to kill it," I instructed. As Danny swatted at the air, Pete walked up to the field, full of himself in his boxy salesman shirt and crumpled tie with his son in tow. He immediately started telling my son how to improve his swing with the loudest voice on the field. And of course, after Pete's advice, Danny starts hitting like Mickey Mantle. I admitted at that moment, I hated Pete. Pete then grabbed the bat, shooed Danny away from the plate, and smirking at me, he boasted, "Let me show you how it's done." Pete did his best to ignore Pete Jr.
"But Dad, it's too windy. I want to go home. Please."
In the batter's box now, Pete stared me down, demanding my best stuff. My first pitch, Pete slammed. The ball screamed out into the world, hitting hard into my son's chest. Danny staggered and struggled to catch his breath. The next pitch I threw as hard as I could, and Pete caught hold of that one easily, drilling the ball right into Tommy's mitt. The kids were scared now, well, all but one.
La-di-da-di-da. I love flowers.
I turned back to Pete and decided to wipe that grin off his face. My next pitch was going to be a curveball, hole number 2. I suppressed the smile as I wound up, reared back, and snapped it off. But then I realized something as the ball flew towards Pete's head. I never could throw a curveball. Both Pete and I realized he was doomed. I'll never forget Pete's look of horror or the sound as the ball went clunk right into Pete's coconut. An intense silence followed. Shock prevented anyone from trying to help Pete get up. Embarrassed, we were all frozen and looked away while Pete clutched the bat and used it as a cane to stand up. Pete ignored our offers of, "Are you all right?" as he wiped the dirt from his sweaty face. Suddenly, it was time to go. Never was baseball equipment picked up any faster. I was strangely both sorry and satisfied as I felt Pete's eyes burning a hole in the back of my head. And with that, we ended baseball practice for the season and learned a lesson for a lifetime. Boys and girls, this is why you should never hit without a helmet on.